Well, guys, I'm trying to do up some packages, and here we have Miss Paisley Marie knocking them all off the pile and trying to get in the boxes. Then we have King Arthur James there watching, because he's old enough to know that that would be naughty, but that doesn't prevent him from watching somebody else be naughty. And apparently, you get just as much enjoyment out of that. Well, we're finally going to open up this here box from Kustoms / Karos Pen Co. Kind of go by both. I know them of Kustoms. They used to do a lot of more custom machining work, and their Render K became so popular that they became a pen company, and similar EDC stuff. No knives. Just realizing that now. Well, let's go with my iconic. Oh no, we actually won't go with this one. We will go with the one that was missing. Just finished up water cooling build, and a buddy had grabbed this one. I thought it was lost. I was like, hey, do you remember where you put this? He knew exactly where he'd put it. It was on my red Craftsman toolbox, magneted on there. And man, was that thing, here you go, red and black camo on a red Craftsman toolbox that was black drawers. That was, and then the Craftsman logos are the chrome. That is about as camouflaged as one can get for a knife in a workroom. I'm gonna tell you. Figure out how to open this thing up. There's actually going to be another Karos Pen Co. Oh, the blade in here is sharp because I don't use this one that often. You guys might have seen a whole unboxing video. This was the original one when they started playing around with Cerakote, with the new owners of Tactical Keychains, of mine at least. I do have a Cerakote one from back when Brad previously owned it, and it was done by a third party, like outside, and a lot of struggles with it. I still actually use it. It's the one I keep on my out on the couch by my TV. Like, why do you need a knife? I need one everywhere, basically. I'm sure you've ever been sitting on the couch and been like, hey, I need to open this bag of chips or something, you know, and I'm just so used to having a Tuck XL, or in this case, you can see the notch, that means it's a Tuck HD. Just so used to having them, and I'm like, oh, I should just put one out there, and that, it's a white Cerakote. I think there might have been like a purple or an orange that I would love to track down. If anybody knows where people are reselling these, let me know. Because some of those OG ones, especially that one Cerakote, I'd love to have. If you have one, I personally, I'll buy it off you. But like, you know, there's no reason. Realistically, I have a bunch of buddies too, that especially when I worked at Geek Squad, because you're opening up boxes, products, all this stuff all the time. These are amazing for that, like what we just did here. And using a knife you have to sharpen, as proven by my letter opener here. Doing cardboard really wears these out fast because it's, you know, made of cellulose, and cellulose trees basically are not the easiest thing to cut. Oh, you might be able to tell what this is just by the sheer. Oh, wait, I might be exaggerating a wee bit, just a wee bit though. let me pull up my order just to make sure I know. Well, not know what I'm talking about. Of course I bought it, but this was before Christmas. I think this was Black Friday deal. This was before they got their new website. Order is shipped. Nope, it was after the. Oh yeah, the Ultim Vertex is gonna go in here. Ultim Vertex, you guys might have seen that video. Fountain pen, postable cap. Also, it's snap based ordering instead of unscrew, and it's designed to be a dropper pen. Now, I don't have it configured as such at the moment, but check out that video. So it was after that guy, but before all these. And those aren't Kustoms, those are tactile. Turn. So this is the 16th anniversary ones. And all of these are gonna go in there. I got two. Like, well, why also? Why would you need these? Well, for example, there's one, and I did something on this wrist where if I go like that, or not wrist, really hand, like that hurts like hell. It even looks a little swollen actually now seeing on the camera, like Rebecca here versus there. You can see like all my whatever's here. You can see it's actually like, didn't realize that until just now. Also, I was, especially going like that, you can see that part's swollen up a ton. Oh, just holding it there. And sometimes if I turn from here to there, it must spread that a little bit. Oh. So these are not the normal cubes from Kustoms. These are the pocket cubes. Can you tell why? It's because they have a pocket in them. Let's see if I can. We need some more light in the pocket cube. Flashlight. There you go. You can see that one's red foam or velour lined. All right. And this one is like the silver fuzzy lined. Yeah. There you go. So these are the pocket cubes. I actually considered buying one of these. They had a really cool, it's for adjusting nibs on fountain pens, like the fountain pen you just saw. Like a brass pliers in there. That was kind of cool. In one, showing it off, it had like a teal handle. I'm like, oh, I've never seen that teal handle before. I wonder what that is. And there you go. Cube by Keras Penco and the Dudek. That's who makes like this insert here. If the inserts feel, I would say very similar to like what you'd feel in a bowling ball. Just reference. Why two and why pocket ones? Well, the reason being, I just realized something, that this is very dirty. Hold on here, 1 second. I've got cats playing here. Jesus, it get dusty around here. So this guy was full, like so. So it was dark matter side click. This is a oh yeah, that makes sense. Can't remember that one. For something Studio Neat makes it. You know, M Bright Orange. We have our brain. I also have a kitten going after this. Here's the dual ano thick. That's not the thick X tone, it's the dual ano thick. Then we have a bolt. The for those wondering, the dark matter ones I did get off of eBay, even though I tend to, you know, like, I don't want to do it, but I got them for reasonable prices if you watch those videos. Then we have the tactile turn. This is the longer one that takes the Parker refill. This is the shorter Montana Knife Pro, the Mini, MKC Mini. And here is the kind of like last one that was in here and chilling. This is the Buccaneer Seasonal that's using a Muji stick pen refill. That's full. Now prior to that was dirty, more like dusty. Now, for example, why would I get those though? Because I'm sacrificing 3 spots per, and I agree. However, I'm out of space, so I need cubes. The only cube they had left prior to their sales for the holidays was the raw machined. I was about to buy one when those went on sale, and the Pen Club discount applied. The red one here, which is called, both of these are the 16th anniversary pocket cube. This is Sniper Gray with the red insert in the bottom, and this is Fire, just fire. So, and this one is Pen Club exclusive. So the reason why I picked them up is because I ideally would like to have, I mean, I'd love to have a different color for each of my cubes. If you notice, these were the previous limited releases. I think they sold out in a week at most. And when I bought them, I knew I was starting on the blue one here. Oh, by the way, this is extraterrestrial, if you've seen that video. Oh, in here we have modal, Monster Green modal. This is from Keras. Then we have the dual ano slim. Yeah, the other one is dual ano, but purple bolt, kind of blue. This is more of an iridescent with a blue bolt, kind of reverse. Think about it that way, you know. And then this is my first numbered pen from them. This is the Nebula. Then we have the Vice Night, Vice Day seasonal pens. Those are both from summer. This is fall, the Buccaneer with the true gold bolt there. Then we have the, because this is older, this blue one. I filled it up first because I thought the blue was a bit more standout. I think I have, these are anodized. I have a Cerakote black, so I thought, you know, black anodized is probably a little bit lower than blue, because the blue really stands out. This is the Space Pen, because traditionally, if you remember tactile turn, I think it's the ink. This is the switch. They've used Space Pen. Then people ask for like the Parker variant right there. This is the denim finish. Squeers has the same rainbow finish. I knew he'd prefer that. I think he might have a dual rainbow finish. But then we have the black blue, now blue black G10 bolt. We have my fixed switch or switch click from Tactile Turn. Look at that. That thing is, and like it does not move. I got the newer updated mechanism, and you have to push it up with your nail. Like it, whereas before, even writing, and that is with the G2 spring and a Uniball, like my UMR 83E, that is cut down as far as it can. I stopped right at the lettering when I cut it. Fits beautifully. It was definitely my previous one that had issues. Now, because this, like, we have either titanium or stainless steel on there rubbing on brass. Now, brass is pretty solid. I probably am going to pull this out and put it in one of these. Now, that's going to be its spot, kind of like with the Smooth Operator. It does have a spot in my cubes, but it kind of gets kept out because they are regularly updating it with pieces. Once they stop, it'll go back to its original spot on there. but this has the extraterrestrial pieces on it. I don't know how well those did for them. Hopefully they did. And I got one in each color because there was like a purple, a blue, and a green. So I got blue/purple, blue, green, and green purple there. So this guy I keep out kind of as my like go-to. Just not that I don't care about it, but the pieces are replaceable. So say if this one got dropped, it would not be the end of the world. That's also the other reason why I generally run these plain sort of raw titanium ones, is there's no finish to mess up on them. But this guy I want to turn into like my main EDC pen, kind of in addition to that smooth operator, just to make sure this mechanism holds up, because the first one I wore through like nothing. Now, as I've said before with Tactile Turn, they always have issues with the first releases of their pens, and if you're looking at Tactile Knife Co., they have complaints about that with their Maverick especially. I don't know about their other ones. But like apparently inside here, under these, this is a G10, my orange G10 variant. The side pieces, or the things that the scales attached to, was skeletonized, far too flimsy. Both my G10 and my Fat Carbon Purple Haze have solid titanium under there. This could be because the very first Mavericks were titanium scaled, so then the actual skeleton of the knife could be skeletonized, you know, because the scales supported more of the structure. Oh, and then we have the first of the two dark matter side clicks I got off of eBay from the same guy that I got the knife from. I did not buy, I think he had a mini or a short. I don't do those. Well, I mean, I did here because this one was only available like that. But for the most part, I want the standard one. So the reason why I picked up these, and I'll be doing the red first because it's more rare. This is the Pen Club one. No, here, look, I got my, this is my purple. I never did a video on this, but this is my Streamlight Wedge. Saw this on Kuhn Trucking. They talked about flashlights a bunch of times, but until they came out with the purple on it, and like they had basically sold out of them. Now this has a nice soft bottom, so with the lens there, I don't see any issue. I can't do that with it. But I saw the purple one and I'm like, I have to have that. And I'd been watching on Amazon. The price fluctuates a heck of a lot. Yeah, I think it's normally around like 120 for one of these, right? But then I would see it regularly go down to like 93, which is what the, like, I think 120 might be like the MSRP. 93 would be like the sale price that the normal black and silver and whatever colors go on. I would see that, but then for Black Friday, this went down to 80 bucks or something, which is the, like, because I'd been watching it. This is something like, I do not need a flashlight. Turns out I actually use it way more than I thought. This sort of switch, where you just slide it forward for turning on and it stays on. This slim form factor is supposed to emulate like a pocket knife. It's much thinner than like a round, but this is a fairly thin pocket knife, I should say. Like the Maverick is. So it's not bulging in your pocket, and you can kind of just carry it just like you would a pocket knife in your side pocket or back pocket, or even front pocket. And then if you want turbo, you just hold it forward. And because it'll overheat, it only lets you do that for a certain period of time. And or just you the action of holding it, you're not going to use it for nearly as long. And it's been super, super nice and useful. Like, that's what the pocket's meant for. You can toss that in there. Or, you know, say you got a knife. Like, here's Bob the box cutter. I could put him in there. You know, stuff like that. I don't know if that's how I'm going to run them, but that's what they envisioned the pocket variant of the cubes for. Like I said, they had, like, say, because originally these were designed, like the cubes were designed to be fat enough to fit their fountain pens. I could see why you would want to put the adjustment pliers, like the brass adjustment pliers for fountain pen nibs, in there. That makes sense. That makes total sense. Now for me, I'd prefer to have the 9 ones, but I'm out of space. I could have bought the generic one. These came up, however, and there were 2 variants. Normal 16th anniversary. The red one is the Pen Club version. This has more of a satin finish to it, I would say. Whereas this guy's more of a matte, for sure a matte. Due to the discount, let me see what I got on this. Like, it was really stupid good. Let's put it this way. Okay, normally these are like 100. Normally a standard cube, like non-anodized like that, anodized or Cerakote is like $100, right? 110 depending on finish and when you buy them, stuff like that. Those were more. I don't remember how much more the black and blue ones were. I might have mentioned it in the video. Go see if you guys can find it. These though, the pocket ones, because of the additional milling and like the stuff in the bottom so you don't wreck stuff, they're more, okay? And because these are Cerakoted, you know, so, and I don't think all the pocket ones necessarily have the soft, nice stuff. I seem to remember the default pocket cubes, they were just metal holes. Maybe that's something they added for these special edition ones. But they were $140. Now, they had just not that long ago come out with a Pen Club discount, if you're in the Pen Club. I got these in total shipped, with shipping, right, and taxes and stuff, for the 2 of them, $168. When normally if you would just bought one of these. And they later on had, one I emailed about, they had like 10 left. They were like scratch and dent versions. Here, 2 releases. That would have been the Northern Lights Pocket Cube. They never released it because they only had like scratch and dent. Well, maybe not like scratch and dent. Black donor inserts, rubber bumper, feel on your desk. I forget why it was, but they only had very, very few of them. I would have bought them, but it was already sold out by the time I checked. That was December 21st, and I want to say it came out. They came out 9:30 p.m. I tried buying them around 2 a.m. Right, already sold out of like it was 8 to 10. I think they said they had. But yeah, I picked these up because mine are full, right? And I got a banger deal. Normally $140. Got these for $168 as the pair with my Pen Club discount. Normally their discount codes, just so you guys know, do not apply to the cubes. And that is from a pure like chunk of metal, you know, like standpoint, and shipping and stuff like that. It's not, generally their discount codes do not already apply to things that are already on sale or promo or brand new releases. You know, like say when they re-released this Ultim Vertex, the promo code that was released that week said it excluded this purposefully because you don't discount your brand new brought back items. Just as a heads up, they made it very clear. However, the promo code that came out, especially because it's the Pen Club promo code, you get one each quarter basically, and they're really big promo codes. But there's also limits, as in you have to spend a certain amount, among other things. I was able to use it on here. And like I said, normally $140 individually. Got it for $168 total with taxes and shipping to my door. So, still not cheap, but I mean, well worth it. I definitely have other EDC items, knives, I have that screen marker I can put in here, like for the touch screen. Like this guy, oh, that hurts. This is like the Kustoms pry bar. I forget it's made out of titanium. It's basically leftover. Basically, they have their titanium rod that they make their pens out of, like the modal, the EDK, etc. They don't usually do titanium anymore. They mostly do aluminum. You know, like this guy, they'll do aluminum Cerakote it. But I have a titanium version of their Bolt V2, their Retract, and their EDK. But when they make those, they have a chunk this long that can't be used. It's not long enough for any other single piece. So they had made it around the shop for themselves, and they were using it. And one of the product guys saw one of the tool guys in the room using it for just various things, and it is very handy. And I said, make them. We'll sell them, because he's like, oh, how'd you make that, or why'd you make that? You know, like, also like, why'd you use titanium, etc. You know, like, probably was the first thing of like, hey, are you just like using our metal to make shit? That's what I imagine it started as. And it turned out, oh yeah, this is like stock we can't use for anything. I really need to add like a little lanyard on here, so that when I hold it like this, there's a little bit there. If anybody has a good lanyard bead place, like ideally not some just cheap ones off Amazon, those will work too, but you know, like a place that like makes them, like, you know, kind of like these guys. Let me know, hit me up. But and then the first one, they have these like little drill things, these scallops in the side. I would be fine without having them, but they kind of added them as like a different place to grip, different place to put stuff in. That one is designed for a lanyard of some kind. I actually think the clip gets in the way when people put it in their pocket, but and you always take it off. It's just 2 screws. But I like honestly think the clip gets in the way. That's the EDK clip, I believe. But they used to have another set of holes right here, and that is actually right where you pry, because if you see boom, 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 right there was another one, and it was like it was basically too close to this. I have both this one and the brass version of this one, which was an option for Pen Club. Instead of buying the coin, you could buy the pry bar, right? And I did that. And both of those have it down here. Now I have those in the drawer with my my brand new iFixit pry tools. Like, so I only go get a new pry tool out if I like genuinely break or F up another one. So these are in there. I use this one, this is the one that's like readily available on their site that you can buy now. Those other ones are kind of like, either it's the older version of this that isn't being made anymore, or the other one is like a soft brass one. So a lot of things you would pry on. Brass is harder than copper, harder than aluminum, but and that's mostly because of the bronze in it. But still softer than titanium. And then the older titanium one is in there that has that known weak point. Like, they actually had some break and stuff like that, so that's why they only put 3 holes or 3 scallops in there, because the other one ended up like eating a good bit way through this material. So that one's kind of like there. If I need it, it's in the other room in the toolbox. But this is the one I always keep on my desk, and it's just handy to have something to pry with. I have something on my keys. It's called the WTF, I believe, from Tactical Keychains, the guys that make this. And it's just a little like wrench. Oh, and WTF stands for wrench that fits. So it's like I probably did a video on it at some point. But on one end is a pry bar, and more than anything else, I use that thing as just like I need to get in this. Or like I had a case for a tablet that has like, it's an OtterBox that has little tabs, and you just gotta pop them open. Pull it off your keys. Used it all the time when I was at Geek Squad, and then later my on-site tech job. Like, you could go to your bag and get something, but some of the stuff I use more frequently, and I could see now the wrench that fits was actually like super handy for me. I could see carrying around this instead. This is my more of sitting at the desk, especially if you need something more substantial. It's definitely got probably double the length to it, or nearly, and it's much thicker. But Yeah, I mean, I used that. It's on my keys right now. To the point where, though, where's my original? It's over here. So, here is my original. And you might be able to see how dinged up. Like, it was originally heat anodized titanium, just like these pens are. See, you can see it's that rainbow. If you ever wonder why the rainbow is done in that colorway, you always see it in blue, gold, purple. That's why. So this is not by any means unusable, but later on, Brad over there made some that had, I think I have like a really cool colorway where it's like gold / almost going on to yellow on the outside, but then the side's like purple. Oh, and this split ring feels really weird. It's a titanium split ring. It was from something. I don't remember which product. You guys tell me if you've seen all my videos. The other thing that's on here is my 2 old flash drives. These are Kensington. If you want something tiny like this, they're the only ones that still make it reliably, where like the whole loop is metal. It's a DT Micro. I think it might be actually like a DT4 Micro or DT Micro 4, if I recall correctly. These are the only ones. Like a lot of the SanDisk ones have a plastic, like they might have a metal part down here, but the actual loop is plastic. These are the ones you want. I used to always get the not the Element, the Tab, the what do you want to call it? The Patriot. Patriot memory used to make really good flash drives. You can see like they were reasonably priced and really good. And I don't know, they just stopped making them over time. Yeah, I'll even see them in people like Wendell's video. He'll pull one out, and I'm like, I know that drive. I have one still, or I have multiple still. Like they were just good. And they were one of the few people that made the Element, which I kept pulling because it was plastic tabbed, but it was made in a way that when it pulled out, it just broke the whole drive. I went through 3 of those before I was like, hey, I keep breaking these. Can you instead send over a tab? Now, I believe at work someplace, I lost mine, like my current job. Never found it. Was during the winter. That's where I lost one of my flashlights as well. Was actually at my grandparents' house. Was helping shovel one time. And I think it's in a snowbank there. That was 5 years ago or something. Sucks. What you gonna do? I was more bummed because Kingston does not make those micros in 32 gig, and that's really what I need. I like having one like 128 or 256 for like transfers or having my entire tools folder, but having a 32 is what's important because that's what you can make boot drives out of. There are limitations, like because you need a fat 32, and it caps at 32 gigs generally speaking. But yeah, that wrench that fits, like that would be another option to this guy here, pry bar from Kustoms, depending on what route you go and what you like. But it is handy to just have something, and you're like, why would you need this? I can just use my knife. Like say you carry around a pocket knife. Yeah, that's how you wreck the blade. Now if you have one you don't care about, fine. But it's also sharp. This is not sharp. You know what I mean? And I got really used to using that wrench that fits to do all sorts of just little piddly, like, get it in your hand and kind of beep, 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 beep. And even just holding it like this with them, because it's much shorter, it's like here. And just, you have a hard, you have like kind of like a long thing that you can put a little bit of force on that is not going to go anywhere. You're not going to wreck it because it's titanium. And that one's actually a wrench too. It's basically one side's SAE, one side's metric, and you can fit a number of nuts on 2 sides and use it. And I've done that before. I believe the end's 1/4 inch, so you can put on like your normal 1/4 inch hex bits. Super useful and a nice design. So basically what's happening here is these are getting filled up. I'm going to fill up the red first. I fill up. Here is the oldest back, like that. So this is the oldest pen that you guys can see here on the thing. That is why it goes to dark matter side click to dark matter side click, because it goes beep, 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 beep. So this guy actually predated. This is my Carryology tactile turn slim bolt that I got because of the knurling. Really nice. I love that even though it has the knurling, because a lot of these brands, when they have the knurling, eschew the tactile turn up here. And this is a very clean... I was actually running this when I was supposed to be running the Buccaneer. Oh god. From a bolt standpoint, this Buccaneer is the smoothest bolt action since my Ember, which is the last seasonal that they Cerakoted. Let me see how smooth that one is now. Oh, it's still damn smooth. So it must be something about when they Cerakote that bolt and lube it the way they do. Those Cerakoted pens with Cerakoted bolts are just like smooth as. This one, however, because it's like raw milled titanium with a raw milled titanium bolt, is like the chewiest. That I mean, it's fine. Reminds me very much of this dual ano that I was using, but this is even smoother because it's at least anodized. This guy's just, yeah. So the next guy that's going, oh, my hand hurts. Ugh. In here is the Vertex Ultim, which is the last of my Cross Customs Ultim fountain pens, and I wanted this one since the reset, but even 2017. Didn't have the money or the budget to pick it up, and I was like, hey, if you ever find any more of those, let me know. And they're like, yeah, you won't have to do that. We, like, keep an eye out. And it's because they re-released it, and I was able to get the original gift box milled case. Really nice. Go back and check out that video. Next up in here, probably one of the pens I might bring to work tomorrow, but I gotta put a different refill in. The Micarta with their new, one of their new lettering from Tactile Turn. This thing feels like holding a hunk of wood. Micarta bolt. This is also thick. Then after that guy, we've got the OD Green aluminum Embright, which feels super skinny. And I compared it to, I have other aluminum ones, like I have the Montana Knife Co. I think I found I had one other one potentially. Oh no, they're coming up. And this stock is skinnier, and I don't know if the stock on the aluminum is just skinnier and then they mill it down to get the grooves, but it feels very slender in the hands. They did indeed on this one too eschew the O-ring. Apparently on the Embright, no O-ring. I'd originally asked them, so I was like, hey, this one came without an O-ring. And they even sent me one. I'm like, hey, it's not fitting. And they're like, oh yeah, that's because it's not supposed to. However, the reason why I thought it did is because this slim, this guy, which was on the same order, was also missing the O-ring. You can definitely see the green here now that it's up against the red. Wow, that really pops compared to the DLC there. Okay, yeah, depending on what color you put this green up against, for contrast, like, it can look black almost. And some of you might be like, you're crazy. No, it's like a really deep green. Ugh. This hand. Okay, then we got these two, which are, normally I keep this guy in the farthest spot right there, if it's available. It will be only for a small amount of time, I think. And then normally I take this guy as well, put it right there. Just keep it on the second farthest, because if I'm going to grab one, this is going to be it. This runs my favorite Uniball UMR 83E, which is the cellulose. That's a Signo 307, not the 207. A lot of people know the 207. That's got the light fast ink. If you're a lefty, that's probably better. David likes it. It's very secure for, like, if you're writing out checks or something like that, because of it being the 83E is archival quality, but that light fast ink adds another level of security. I don't believe the 83E, which is the 307, is waterproof. Whereas because it's a light fast ink on the 207, which would be the 83, and the 3 means 0.38. That number changes if you want, like, 0.5 would be 85, I believe, 87, depending on which one you're looking at. But yeah, so it's not, but the cellulose ink for me writes so smooth, and it writes smoother, in my opinion. A lot of people will say, like, the Muji stick pens write really well, and they do. I have the Muji stick pen refill in the Buccaneer because it fits without any sort of adaptation, cutting, anything. I don't have to do anything to it. Whereas even though the Muji refill is made by Uniball, the dimensions, like, it feels like the plastic on the outside is slightly slimmer, and I guess the length is slightly shorter. It can go in the tactile turn bolts without being cut down, which, hey, just saves me time. And it's a refill I do like. It might not be my exact favorite, but it is very nice. Also, no problem on the side click. Perfectly fits. That's why they're in all of the dark matter bolt, and the side clicks there. I'll be putting one in this guy more than likely. Now, if I do find the Muji refill has to be cut down, which sometimes happens on some of these guys, the thicker pens, or here with the I don't know about this Embrite, but these Embrites here, they actually need, because when they change the tip to not need that O-ring, the inside of the tip is not as wide as the normal bolt, and it's closer to actually the inside of, like, a slim bolt. So I actually switched to the G2 spring, because otherwise the standard tactile turn spring binds up in there and actually gets stuck. I believe when I did that as well, doing this motion with the hand, like that sort of grip, oof. Yeah, so I cut down a UMR 83E to put in here, because once you have to use the G2 spring, the Muji no longer works with modification either. If I'm going to modify it, I'm going to modify it and put in the refill I prefer. We'll have to see. This thing feels super stupid light with the spring feels super stupid strong because it's still got the original tactile turn spring in it. But the pen itself, because it's the aluminum, you remember aluminum is actually lighter weight than this also has the new writing on it, than titanium for the amount of space. Titanium is stronger though, so you need less titanium. But a pen is not a structural issue. Like, this guy's a chonker. And yes, that may look weird on the tip there, but that's because this is a Sarza clip refill. That's how they look like on the pen too. Like, when you get it, that is the correct tip protrusion, even on the stock pen, like the stock plastic pen. That is how they are, for those wondering. So I'm probably gonna put both of these back up on the shelf. This guy's gonna come in there, and this is the DDC tactile turn quote unquote bolt action pen. This is what I was comparing. This is much thicker than this guy, much thicker. Now, this one, once again, that's why it was a big deal that the Carryology had knurling. It's much finer knurling. That's not actually very grippy, but the rest of the pen is still the tactile turn. It's got the nice orange button though. Can't pass that up. Still working on tactile turn. They have a white pen that's like a Texas something with an orange clip. Saw it in Tactile Knife Co.'s images with their knives. They're like, hey, reach out, we can get you one. So far, Tactile Turn knows nothing about that pen. So I sent him a screenshot. I might have to talk to the knife guys. It's the same company. They're in the same building. So this time I got him a screenshot though. But I think that's why this feels skinnier, is because they turned the whole pen. Whereas this is only turned on this grip section. What's interesting is these DDC ones are, they're turned much longer than even the MK, like the Montana Knife Co. And this guy's shorter than the Montana Knife Co. If you see that, it is that knurling. It's not even really knurling in this case. It's more of just lines. Much longer. What is kind of cool is the DDC company. They put in matching. So this has an orange G2 refill. These are gonna be the few ones I keep the refill in. Orange G2 refill in there. Draplin Design Co. is DDC. This is very, very similar to red. And then I actually preferred, I mean, I had to pick up the orange one because, as you guys know, orange is my color. The reason why I didn't is around that same time last year when the orange one came out, I had just bought Squeers as a present for his birthday or Christmas, kind of around the same time, I believe. The orange short aluminum bolt when the aluminum bolts came out, because I knew he'd liked orange. And it's not even just because like Geek Squad days. He used to get it because of, matching Geek Squad. But I knew he liked the orange one, and I knew he wanted short because then he can put in his Parker refills. That's generally his preferred refill is the Parker. That's why I picked him up one of these, even though I had previously picked him up one of these. And he does like the Space Pen, but there are far more options than Parker. I just picked him this up in short, and I'm like, I don't want him confused, etc. Now, I've really gotten to like the knurling on Tactile Turns pens. There was a good discount or good deal or whatever you want to call it because of like the sales during the holidays, and then this guy came out, which is the, what I call it, like blue, or it's not even called blue, it's called like teal or something. Watch the video on it. I'm sure I go over it. It is getting late. Almost 4 a.m. and I gotta go. Tomorrow's my first day back after the holiday break. So let me pull off the little bulbous guy there. And that one also has blue in it. So they actually paired the refills in them to match the pens, which is it's a nice touch. This feels skinnier to me than this. But this, like I said, is an older pen. This is 2024 because they re-released the orange after selling out. This is also 2024, but this is a newer design. This pen's thickness, and I really should just get a caliper out, feels closer to this guy's. Whereas this one feels closer to the Montana Knife Co. with the knurling, which also does not have full tactile turn down the side. These are also stupid light, not as light as the M-Bright though. And yes, the M-Bright I need to swap out. I need to see what spring I need to go with. Probably need to do the same thing like I did there and steal a G2 spring. Then I might as well cut down a refill. What I'll probably be rocking tomorrow, take this dude, pop in a Muji refill, and be on my way, hopefully. See, this one's already full. That's why I normally like the 3 additional slots. Boop, boop, boop. In this case, because I like keeping these 3 in there if I can. Or usually it's those 2. It's the Smooth Operator Gen 2 with whatever the current thing is in it. and the pry bar. So if I can, I keep them in there, and then I usually keep the pry bar last. This can kind of just go anywhere on the desk. But I want to keep running this guy and grabbing it whenever I think of it, just to make sure this mechanism is, like, I mean, I'm, like, you really gotta, I just wedge my finger in there and it pops up. I want to make sure it holds up, because the original one wore out in record time, and I can even show with macro mode. As you guys know, I am in love, or however you want to say it, with the macro mode. That's why I got the Pixel 7 Pro. We're on the Pixel 9 Pro. They later patched into the Pixel 7 Pro the macro mode in video. Hype. And Pixel 9 Pro works even better because of the all the cameras are either 48 or 50 megapixel. It no longer goes down in quality like the Pixel 7 Pro did, because the 7 Pro only had the 50 or 48 megapixel on the main shooter. So when it went into macro, it went like potato, kind of like you'd see someone they go telephoto, they go potato. So that also means that I can actually shoot in 50 megapixel, because they wouldn't let you do that in the Pixel 7 Pro because all the cameras were not 50 megapixel. I mean, I don't know if that was the reason. I think that's the reason, though. It was in the Pixel 8, but only the Pro, not the non-Pro that had the same camera, just didn't have the telephoto camera. I don't know. Then on the 9, they went to the Pro being the small guy, or actually the normal size guy, not the XL, and then the Pro, I don't know if it was the Pro XL or something. I'm forgetting. You'd have to watch my video on that if you don't want to just Google it or ask your phone or whatever. So they finally have a small phone, and to be truthful, I was still happy with my Pixel 7 Pro. Might have been getting a little bit of light battery degradation after using it for as long as I did. But that was about it. And it was still fully viable. There are some things I didn't like about it, but to get the additional cameras for the and to get the macro mode, basically, I didn't really need telephoto, but that enables that. And to get the storage of 512 at the time, you had to get the Pro on the 7. They did finally make the max available storage and the max available storage available in different colors back on the 7. So that's why I was kind of fine with it, even though I didn't like the taller aspect ratio of the display. I really didn't like the curved sides. I didn't need the higher resolution of the display. 1080p is fine for any phone, in my opinion. That's why the Pixel 6 was beautiful. It was a chonky freaking boy, but it was beautiful otherwise. And then why did I go to the 7 Pro from 6 if I'm saying the 6 was beautiful? Well, it cost me, I don't know, I did the math on one of the videos where it was like $80 to use the 6 for a year, and then I went to the 7 Pro. Because there was a lot of stuff that happened around the launch of the 6. So it cost me nothing. This guy cost me quite substantially, because I went to the terabyte, because on the 7 Pro I noticed if I recorded any video like this with you guys, which is now 53 minutes, holy Jesus, if you watch all of this, I don't know, I give you a cookie. It would be full if I had any more than one video on it, basically, with everything I have on the phone. Because the 256 gig Pixel 6 was full, period. And I would dump it monthly. Like any additional new photos and stuff I put on there. The Pixel 7 Pro at the 512, I was doing every 2 to 3 months, if not more often, depending on how often I shot you guys a video, or did video things, or did a bunch of photos if it was an event, you know what I mean? The 9 Pro here, I think I was close to being full, and I only really dumped it though because I needed to straighten out all the videos, and I started uploading daily. If you guys haven't seen, so I had to pull them off to do that because I was going to start uploading again. Otherwise, we weren't close to needing space. but I want to say it was something like 800 gigs of the terabyte, which is not too shabby, not too shabby. The other thing I want to do, the reason why, how it was getting full, I would prefer to have all of my photos I ever took on my phone. And with the 512, okay, I would fill a 256 fully, and that's without doing new things, between music, etc. Well, I fixed my music collection, and it's not even done, but it's up to where it should have been, what was it, 3 years ago almost, or at least 18 months ago, something like that. And it's only going to get bigger, right, over time. And then, basically, the 512 was getting to the point where, like I said, it was 2 to 3 months, sometimes monthly, I was having to empty it. And I'm like, we're just going big, and then I wanted enough space to, like, hey, this is like another phone, basically. And with the recent reformatting of Google Photos and the fact that RAW is properly supported as one image, like they do photo stacking in Google Photos, among a bunch of other things, I'd actually reworked a bunch of my old Pixel photos, at least, to rename them to work to the new standard. I should be able to do it because LG, on my LG G4 and LG G6, used to stack RAWs, and I was kind of like actually irked by that when I went to the Pixel, and they were in separate folders. The JPEG was in camera, the RAW was in photos RAW. And then when you deleted one, it didn't delete the other. I'm like, this is madness. LG has had this figured out for however long. I really do think some of the features that are coming and or coming back to the Pixel, at least the software experience, I don't know about necessarily the hardware, but the software experience, I have a feeling Google got some of the, because LG killed their smartphone division. I have a feeling they got some of their, at least like their camera engineers or developers or whatever. Because a lot of the features that are getting brought in are ones that LG had already. And it just seemed like they just weren't getting done at Google for some reason. And Google expanded it too now. They do the photo stacking. They do similar images. Like it'll notice if you've done a burst, which LG did before. If you took a burst, it would just save it as one chunk of, like it would name them in a way or whatever. Like I said, it seems like things that other, like, they're finally getting on the train. I can't be happier because I really like two things. What do I buy a Pixel for? You buy it for always being updated, always, and it's really handy to have that. It's kind of like if you're going to run a new computer and have it on the latest version or keep it up to date with Windows 11, you kind of want to be able to keep it on the latest version and have all the new features. Same thing with the phone. I never have to worry about security updates. I get the new features as they come out. It's kind of fun to play around with it. And then also for work, I'm not worried, like we have to tell people on a regular basis, like, hey, you actually need to go and buy a new phone because you can't get past iOS 12 or 13 or something, and that's literally not even allowed on our network anymore or whatever. Like I believe the iPhone 8 recently, I think the XS might have been kicked out this time, but I remember, like, a bunch of people had iPhone 8s, and they finally, like, weren't getting updates anymore, and we had to, like, tell a bunch of people, like, hey, it's finally time to replace your iPhone 8, because we can't allow it on our network. I mean, the other option would be, hey, if you're cool with not having your work stuff on your phone, like, because we can't manage it properly, basically, that's fine. But I don't have to worry about that when I'm on Pixel. Even with the Pixel 6, which Pixel 5 did actually lose support, like when they said it would, but the 6, I'm thinking it's because it's running their Tensor chip. It's at least gone, they're at least giving it like one major update past when it was supposed to, which has happened in the past. Like Pixel 3 got one of those. I think the 2 as well. The 4, ugh. And the 5 was kind of an in-between, so, it was like a weird one. Amazing phone. Pixel 5 was just a better Pixel 3. Sadly, didn't have the new camera array, which is... Oof. They could have kept that going. Brilliant. But, and then the photos. The fact that the Pixel just takes... Granted, I had one blurry one recently in dark, but minus that, dead nuts on photos, basically. And you can save them in a RAW, and it ties into Google Photos. And the Google Photos presets work really well with the camera, because it turns out the people that work on that know the Pixel cameras and know what sliders should be moved if they need, because there's usually 2 presets, and there's dynamic and can't remember the other one off the top of my head at the moment. But if your photo needs to be corrected, and early on the Pixel 7 Pro, the first 6 to 8 months, it needed it. I noticed after about 14 to 16 months of ownership, oh, I suddenly wasn't needing to correct photos anymore. And iPhone went through this similar thing where people are actually saying their old, like their Pixel or their iPhone 7 took better photos than their iPhone 12. And that was because they switched to that 50 megapixel sensor. And it took all these brands, because they've been using the same sensor for so long, it took them a while to properly apply their filtering and everything like that. I think even iPhone has still been having issues on their latest ones, actually. But for the most part, because like the Pixel 9 is now the 3rd generation, Google seems to have it figured out. The Pixel 7, though, I would almost always, like if I wanted to share a photo, have to use dynamic or enhance, I think is the other one, on it. A bit over 12 months, like I'd say 14 to 16, I just suddenly, like the software got up, camera got an update, so Google Photos got an update, and I suddenly didn't have to use that anymore. I think I tweeted about it. But the, what do you want to say, like and I didn't have to use it, but like even now sometimes I do tweak it, especially for like the YouTube thumbnails. I'll use one of those, just give a little bit more punch. But if there's something that needs to be corrected, especially like white balance, one of those 2 is gonna do it, because they program those off of the sensor that's in the camera. You really don't need to, but you can manually tweak all of it, boop 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 boop. And I can tell that if you do take the RAW, I mentioned it when I had the 7 Pro, they did an update to it where when you re-edit it, it actually edits off the RAW, not off of the JPEG. The only downside I have seen, and they've mentioned this with the Pixel 9 Pro, is that editing it removes the HDR. They are working on making at least certain edits keep HDR in the photo. But currently, any major edit, other than like a crop or something, will remove HDR. Kind of a bummer, kind of okay though, because on certain, like I remember when I initially uploaded one of the shorts, it ended up being in HDR, and that's why I've stopped recording on HDR on this guy, is because it looked like butts on anything that didn't have HDR enabled on YouTube, so I'd rather just not have it than have it create a mess of things. It was kind of like how 4K 30 was good, or 1080p 60 was good. This thing can do, even the 7 Pro could do 4K 60. Back then I would still do 4K 30 though, because YouTube was like, no bueno, no. And since the Sony camera, my Panasonic mirrorless, and everything else I was shooting on only did 4K 30, I just put the 7 Pro on 4K 30. Keep it consistent, much easier to edit in timelines with various cameras in them. On this bad boy though, you're getting 4K 60. The only reason you turn it off is HDR, but like I said, it does weird things anyway, so let's not worry about that. Any questions, comments? You know, we had a weird update. We updated some of the pens here. These guys are going on my desk, and those are going to go on the shelf. I was thinking I might want to make some sort of like topper that goes over these, because you saw I had to clean them off. They get dusty. And it's not because I don't use them. It's just the top surface of it does, just because of being in a house with pets, I think. I might want to make some sort of plexiglass like that goes over them. I think that'd be interesting. It would limit the ease of grabbing. Oh, I want that pen. Like you'd have to pull the top off and pull the pen. But, you know, otherwise I'll have to dust them every now and then. Ugh. It's like cleaning your computer. You guys should really do that at least quarterly. It really does help. The water cooling build that you'll see the video on, his old computer actually did a ton better when we removed like an entire dog out of the front of the case, and off the heatsink. You could peel it off as like a clump chunk. Removing that, like, you'd be surprised how much better the Computer performed. I think we're done. The Gorilla Pod gave up. So you get a little preview of what's going to be the next video, and we'll see you then. Peace.